This video is brought to you by 3, bringing you 4G at no extra cost.
You're watching BTech, I'm Basil, this is an LG G3 and that is an Apple iPhone 6 Plus. These are two phones that can very naturally be compared. You've got 5.5-inch screens across both of them and flagship specs as well. Having said that, they're also very different. This is a Quad HD display, this is a Full HD display. This is an all-metal body, this is an all-plastic body, iOS versus Android, etc. We're going to start off by talking about the LG G3, and this design is pure plastic fantastic, and that is actually pretty fantastic because it is designed so that you've got minimal bezeling along the sides. You've also got a removable back cover with a removable battery, removable micro SD card slot, and a removable SIM slot, obviously. All the buttons are at the back, volume buttons and a power button, as well as that rear-facing 13-megapixel camera, laser autofocus, and dual flash. Given there are no buttons on the side, that is how LG was able to achieve such incredible bezeling to complement that 5.5-inch display and make the phone hand-holdable. Down at the base, you can see micro USB connector and 3.5mm headphone jack, while up at the top, it's that IR blaster. This is a TV remote control as well. So there are a few things that really make this stand out, but the real focus is how good it is in the hand, how light it is, and how comfortable it is given that massive screen size. The same cannot be said for the iPhone 6 Plus. Don't get us wrong, it's incredibly ergonomic. It's got very nice rounded corners and feels so premium. The curve is incredibly continuous throughout. The glass feels rounded at the sides. It works perfectly with iOS's edge-to-edge screen tapping. We can also see at the top you've got a front-facing iSight camera, in-call speaker, and at the base of the front you've got a home button. The home button doubles up as a fingerprint scanner, so tap it once to unlock or open, touch your thumb on it to unlock the device. To the right hand side is a power button, nano SIM card slot, and at the base of the device is a lightning connector, loudspeaker, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the left, volume controls and a quick toggle with no buttons at all up at the top. Like we said, you can see as we just browse around it, incredibly premium. Back of the phone, 8-megapixel optical image stabilized camera, True Tone LED flash, and an Apple insignia. That strip at the top, that's where your NFC point is. So it's similar in terms of the camera to the G3. Sure, it's lower pixel count, but True Tone flash and optical image stabilization will make more of a difference, we reckon, than those pixels. In hand, the bezels at the bottom are just too tall. Apple has figured out a workaround that is actually pretty elegant, and that's double tap the home button in order to pull down the notifications tray and obviously all your applications as well. Speaking of, we're going to come on to the UI in a second, but first, let's talk about these screens. The Apple iPhone 6 screen is brighter. Let's start off with that. You can see it's throwing our camera way off, and it isn't just because it's a white background. We can drop the screen on the 6 Plus, the brightness on the 6 Plus, and we've got the G3 set to full brightness already. You can see though they are very similar in terms of quality, and sharpness is very good across both. The G3 is undoubtedly sharper with its pixel density of around 530 or so, 536 I think it is, by contrast to 400 pixels per inch on the Apple iPhone 6 Plus. Viewing angles are strong across both though. Outdoor viewability is a little bit better on the iPhone in the time we've had to test with both, but like we said, two very premium experiences. The real differentiator has got to be the operating systems though. iOS versus Android, an age-old battle. iOS is simpler, although it's gotten more complicated as time's gone on. While you used to just have a home screen, if we pull down from the top, we've got Spotlight search now, like we showed you earlier. If you pull down from the very top of the screen, you've got your widgets, and you've also got notifications as well. Swipe up, long press the home button to activate Siri, double tap the home button to activate multitasking, and well, that's the crux of it. But you get what we're saying. iOS used to be just home screens, but now it's home screens and a whole lot more. You can also, we didn't mention, organize home screen items into folders with beautiful animations across everything. The LG G3, well, it requires a whole lot more explaining. Sure, you have the crux of Android at the heart. Pull down notifications tray, you've got widgets, brightness controls, call controls. You can swipe out of the way all of your notifications, and you've got an applications tray as well. These widgets and applications can be accessed here, and of course widgets, for anyone who doesn't know, are interactive items in the home screen, and shortcuts are just shortcuts to applications. Now that we've covered that, to the left hand side you've got an LG G screen, or whatever it's called. It's got some smart tips, and this really does illustrate all the many things that you can do using this phone. You can, for example, unlock the phone by double tapping the screen. If you unlock the phone in a combination of taps, you'll unlock it in something called guest mode, which only allows for certain applications should you be giving your phone to someone else to use. On top of that, you can unlock it in a certain set of combinations to lock it into regular mode, meaning you can more securely lock your phone. Apple's answer to that, we suppose, is a fingerprint scanner, but still, it's a pretty neat innovation from LG and one that works very well. As far as other elements goes, it's stuff we've seen before for the most part, such as multi-window, where you can have different things in different parts of the screen. You can also customize your buttons at the base and swap out your theme completely to change the whole look and feel of your phone. Do you get what we're saying? It's a more complicated user experience, so anyone who loves to tinker will love the LG G3. Unfortunately, it did lag a little bit as well, especially the 2GB version we have. This is available with 2 or 3GB if you want no stutter whatsoever, and that is your main priority on an Android phone, but you still need this gorgeous Quad HD display, then we'd probably recommend you opt for the 3GB version. Now taking a look at what you can expect in terms of multimedia. As far as the storage options go, to get all that multimedia on, you've got 16 or 32 gig available on the LG G3 like we said. The iPhone 6 Plus is available with 16, 64 or 128 gigabytes. We definitely recommend the 64 or the 128 gigabytes. You will fill up that 16 gigabytes in no time flat. As far as the cameras go, 13 megapixels with optical image stabilization like we said, and 8 megapixels with optical image stabilization. True tone, i.e. dual flashes on both. LG has a habit of over-processing its pictures, so they look a little bit dappled. This does mean you get very little noise in low light though. Apple, on the other hand, tends to leave things well alone a little bit more, or at least that's how it looks. Pictures look a little bit more natural. Historically, therefore, you've had a little bit more noise and grain, but we haven't minded as it does look more untampered with. We'll have to put these two through side by sides though before we give you anything conclusive. As far as the shooting experience though, both are very, very automated, allowing you to not really set too much in terms of manual controls, just basic things like exposure. 4K video, Full HD video, 240 frames per second slow-mo, 120 frames per second slow-mo. So you can see instantly, depending on what you're going to want, there are going to be advantages to each of them. As far as gaming goes, the iPhone's got, well, higher quality games if you're really, really keen on specific sets like Capcom games, for example, but Modern Combat, Asphalt, all your regulars are going to be cross-platform, including a lot of console games like Final Fantasy. Last but not least, connectivity and battery life, and we already mentioned the infrared blaster at the top of the LG G3, and that's pretty much the main thing that differentiates the two. 4G and its Cat4 LTE on both of them, 3G naturally, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. As far as the batteries go, you've also got very comparable cells in them. 3000 milliamps versus 2915 on the iPhone 6 Plus. With the iPhone 6 Plus running with a dual-core processor as opposed to a quad-core processor, and half or a third of the RAM depending on which one you go for. We're curious to see how they compare. The G3 would last a day for most users. If you're a power user, you might get just under a day. And of course, if you're a very light user with the screen off most of the time, that will be the biggest battery suck. We've been very impressed since we got the iPhone 6 Plus 24 hours ago, but we can't say anything again too conclusive until we get all our apps on here and take it for a week-long test drive. Hopefully you've enjoyed our comparison nonetheless. Hopefully you found it useful. If you've got any questions about either of the phones, want us to try out anything in particular across both of them, then shoot that in the comments section below. Please, if you like the video, click that like button, and if you like BTech in general, subscribe. That's how you're going to stay up to date with all of our iPhone 6 coverage. Thanks for watching.